Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time visiting, welcome. My name's Adrienne. I live in New York City, and that's all you need to know. I am a lover of makeup and skincare and connecting with folks. So welcome to my channel. Today I thought it would be fun to have two kind of new products that hit the market that really piqued my interest. I thought it would be fun to have them face off because their descriptions just sounded really similar. So right now I've already have them applied on half of my face. I'm wearing the new Becca Light Shifter Doing Tint, this one here in the color Orbit. And on my other side of my face, I'm wearing the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator in the shade Light, which is this one here. So if you are interested in seeing both of these apply and hearing my thoughts regarding them, because I have been testing them for a few days, but I did want to apply them both on camera, half and half, just so that you could see the difference of each when their claims are really similar. They actually apply very differently. And I thought that that would be helpful for you, especially if you're looking to buy either, none of these products. So if that interests you, stay tuned for what's next. So I want to do this half wear test on these two products that I've actually been trying for a few days. This is not a first impressions, but I thought it would be helpful for you to see it applied and for you to maybe make your own decisions, though I will be giving my opinions at the end of this. So the two products I'll be using are the new Becca Light Shifter Doing Tint, this one here, and I picked up the color Orbit 2. Orbit 2. What is wrong with me? I will read for you the description on the box. Don't try to read into my face as I read this. A weightless tinted moisturizer that becomes one with the skin, providing sheer buildable coverage. Light shifting pigments reflect and diffuse light, illuminating skin with a dewy finish. This instantly hydrating, jellified balm is infused with hyaluronic acid, crystallized licorice, and green tea. Apply with fingertips onto clean skin and layer where you'd like to build coverage around the face. So that's the instructions for that. The container is one full ounce of product. It's a pretty small, compact product. And then the other product on the other side of my face, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. This one here. I have the shade Light. And this one says it's an oil-free perfector, delivering hydrating benefits in a buildable sheer to medium tint for a flawless, softly luminous complexion. Hyaluronic acid and plant-derived squalene help promote healthy-looking, supple, and moisturized skin. Now, this one doesn't give directions on like what to expect or how to apply it, but I'm gonna use my fingers as well because I have been using it and I do think fingers is perfectly fine. But I felt like these were pretty comparable descriptions. Both are telling us they're gonna be a luminous product. Both are telling us they are sheer but buildable, and yeah, and they both have hyaluronic acid and other good ingredients. Squalene is great for the skin. Licorice is magnificent for brightening the skin and sunspots. And so is green tea. Green tea is great for the skin as well. So I'm hopeful of both. So we'll see. So first let's start, I think, with the Wet n Wild. So this was really affordable. I like that it's not like big and bulky. I do shake it because I do feel like it's quite a liquidy product. And we're gonna try to build it. And all I have on my skin, they said clean skin on both. So I've double cleansed my skin and I put a hydrating serum, which I used the Drunk Elephant Bee Hydra. And on top of that, I put a little bit of the Embryolisse Le Crème Concentrée, the moisturizer. This, I put a little bit along this is in every makeup artist's makeup kit because it plays well with everything. So I can't blame it for anything. And it doesn't leave your skin, it leaves your skin hydrated, but not dewy in any way, which I like. Especially if we're testing out this product. So I'm gonna just squeeze a bit. Maybe this was too much, but I don't think so. And we're only gonna use on this side of the skin. Now, I will say, like I said, I have used this already, and I know that the color is not the best match for me. Neither of these colors are the best match for me. I wish that I would have gone ahead and picked Fair for the Wet n Wild. And I wish I would have picked #1 for the Becca products. It's just not, I don't know if it's picking up on camera right now, but it's just slightly orangey on me. You can really see it in real life that it's orangey. But it has a really nice feel when you put it on. Slightly oily. I do like squalene. And so I kind of feel like, I definitely feel the squalene in it. Like squalene has this definite kind of oil feel, but it tends to really sink into the skin quite nicely. So that's one layer of that product. So I do think it covered quite well. I mean, you still see my sunspots, and you do see, you know, imperfections, but my skin does feel moisturized, more moisturized than it did before. It has a little bit of a tacky finish. If I look closely, maybe I will use a different mirror. Maybe, does this have a mirror? Yes. It doesn't really settle into any of my pores. It doesn't settle into fine lines. It doesn't even accentuate really anything negatively. I have like some texture underneath my eyes, these little bumps. And it doesn't do any of that. It's really, really pretty. Now let's try to just build it up a little bit. Since I had a little bit more product on my hand, and I'll try to build it up on those areas where I have a little more pigmentation, all the way up to around my eyes. The way I think about these products is these would be products I would reach for if I'm looking for truly a lightweight coverage, and you know, I want to put something on my face, but I want it to be able to maybe sit over sunscreen really nicely, but I don't want to build my coverage. I don't really want like a full face of makeup. So there was quite a lot of product left, you'll see. And here you can really see how different the color is. It's dark on me. This is definitely dark on me, I think. And it has like a very strong sort of peach color in it. So I would really want to pick up the Fair in that side. So that's the Wet n Wild one. And we're gonna let it sit for a moment. I know for a fact that this actually dries down completely. And now let's work on the Becca side. I gave Becca the more challenging side. I got a boo-boo here, I got a boo-boo here, boo-boo here. It's that time of the month probably, and I've been under the craziest amount of stress. So both of those things are killer combinations. Killer combinations for the skin. So yeah, I thought Becca could handle it better, this side of the face, just because, I mean, the price point is significantly higher. I believe the Becca product is about $30. So it's about 6 times the price of the Wet n Wild product, especially that you could like get the Wet n Wild product on sale, or apply a coupon like at Ulta or something. So this one I'm gonna just kind of dot around, and I'm gonna start mixing. So again, don't judge me on the shade because it's not the right shade for me. This also has the same problem. It also casts like a very orangey appearance, very Oompa Loompa-y. So this is not my shade. But I do think I get a pretty good sense of what the finish is and whether or not I like it. So I'm doing the same thing, just massaging this into my skin. I'll bring that. So I'm not going to fault it for the color. We won't talk about the color. I'll assume that there is a better color for me in this mix. And this one also said that it is buildable. Now, it didn't say buildable to a medium. It just said buildable. So we're going to try the same thing, and we're going to take a little bit of product, and I'm going to apply it in the areas that I have the blemishes. Typically, I don't have blemishes. I very rarely have blemishes. So this is normally not a situation that I'm in, but I feel like it's a situation a lot of folks are in terms of like wanting to cover up something. And I'm definitely in the group of I want to cover something up. It's not always a blemish. Sometimes it's a sunspot. So that is that product. And I will tell you also, this product does dry down more. Right now it is quite luminous. And so I will start telling you my feelings about these products because I have worn them both for full day wear tests. So I know what's going to happen in each of their situations. I'm sort of like moving you just so that maybe you can see. Let me try to make the light as bright as possible, and hopefully you can see. So you see the Wet n Wild side, actually, though it is hydrated in terms of, it actually did hydrate my skin. I felt it hydrate my skin with that squalene. It actually is a very, very natural finish, almost a little silky or kind of like satiny feeling. It's still drying completely, but it has a nice, very, very subtle glow. But it's overall a pretty, somewhat semi-matte formula. And that was really surprising to me. Also, I'm really surprised at the coverage. And I should mention the scent. There is no scent on the Wet n Wild product, which is incredible. Because one of them, the Becca one does have a scent, but we'll talk about that in a sec. Because I know Wet n Wild, like their photo focus does, like their foundations have scents, and I really, really don't care for that scent at all. So yeah, it's sort of, it's nice. It's nice that they actually listened and created a product that doesn't have anything. So I am surprisingly shocked at how good this is. My pores are there's less obvious. I have quite large pores on my cheeks, and you really can't tell. Now let's turn to this side. There are lots of problems with the Becca product. Firstly, when it goes on the skin, it feels very thick. It feels greasy and not in a hydrating way. It just feels like an oily slick, but like more like a paste, an oil paste than it's like a thin oil, because it's actually quite thick. And it accentuates things I didn't even realize I had. So ignore the fact that it didn't even bother doing a decent job even trying to cover these guys, and it just, because it's such a luminous product. It's such a luminous product. It's as though it's even drawn more attention to the texture that's around my blemishes. So let's put that as an aside. It even managed to settle into every single fine line I have, and I don't have many fine lines, but it found the few I had, and it's like, here, we're gonna draw attention to them. This product does end up settling a bit, and it won't be as shiny in like an hour or two, but I don't see how, I don't know who this product is for. And I'm really like, I'm floored because I actually do like a lot of, well, I like the like First Light primer and all that. That's nice. And that I do feel like does beautiful things underneath foundations, but I really just don't know who this product is for. I think if you had super dry, perfect skin, maybe you would like this. I don't even know. And I don't even know what, I mean, the shade range was sort of a strange one. I mean, I had to look at this product a few times to make sure that this wasn't like another glowy primer, and I'm actually now supposed to put foundation over it. And no, it absolutely is a tinted moisturizer with sheer and to buildable coverage, whatever that means. And it's meant to be worn alone. And it is not good in my opinion. I think that this is a product that is probably so few people can wear this, and I really like usually minimal coverage with a dewy finish, but this is, I mean, this is just greasy. It's just greasy. I feel like my pores are very unhappy with me. It's splotchy, like it did not kind of neutralize. You see there's like redness here and redness here, and it just darkened everything a bit, but it didn't like smooth it over or kind of neutralize it. Whereas you could see on this side, the Wet n Wild did neutralize it, which is, I mean, I didn't expect this from Wet n Wild, and I didn't expect this from Becca. I expected the reverse results, and that's why I wanted to line them up, because I felt like their descriptions were so close together that it was like only fair to kind of like compare them. Yeah, so I'm gonna finish doing all of my makeup, the rest of my makeup, and I'll come back on with some other thoughts. Okay, so you know, clearly you saw I wasn't very thrilled with the Becca's performance, that product, and much more thrilled with the Wet n Wild one. So I just wanted to provide some thoughts, and you know, I finished up my face. Let me go through with what I added because I do think it matters. I powdered my face, the side of the Becca. So I used the Hourglass powder and I powdered it, and it certainly made a heck of a lot of difference. You'll see there's just a lot, you know, it's a lot smoother. There's just a lot less pores happening. It brought the shine down quite a bit, but there's still a good amount of luminosity in it. So I did want to make mention of that. If you should know about me, I'm not a powder person. I don't like to powder my face at all. Maybe just in the T-zone, but I would never typically powder my face in its entirety. Now, if you're somebody who actually likes that step, then potentially you can make this Becca product work for you. I just think if it's going to be a light, moisturizing kind of product, why do I have to do a second step? It kind of kills the vibe of easy makeup for me if it feels more like the vibe of full coverage makeup, where I would probably expect myself to powder. I hope that makes sense. So you know, that's why I just know it's not a product for me. That, and still it's accentuating the, you know, the fine lines I shockingly didn't know I had. It is not helping me in the blemish department with coverage. I would say that the powder did, in it dulled the light reflecting from it. So, but you could still see, and so I would have to like put on concealer, probably, again, a step I don't want in my routine necessarily if I'm kind of going for this type of product. And still the feeling of it is very heavy. Like as I make expressions, I can feel it. I can feel around my eyes, the skin, I could feel around my mouth. Well, while on this side, the Wet n Wild side, I don't feel it at all. And on the Wet n Wild side, I did not have to powder my face. I didn't, so all I did was, so I used the Hourglass on this side. I used butter bronzer everywhere. My Clinique Cheek Pop in Black Honey on both sides. And I'm wearing my Tarte Maracuja lip. It's so pretty, right? In the color Holiday Spritz. This came in a set. It's so nice. It's very balmy and luscious. And then on my eyebrows, I used the Glossier Brow Flick. So that's about it that I used. And I mean, you can see, I just feel like this side looks so much more perfected than this side. This side definitely looks more luminous, but again, it's also luminizing everything that's not good, along with everything that's good. It's doing both. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not that big of a fan. So I think this is going, it's also not the right shade for me. It's on the darker side. And so I would say this is going back for me. While this one, even if it's in the wrong shade, I think I'm just going to pick up the lighter shade and mix them because it is a really nice product. And I feel like for the price point, like, why not? I will happily mix them together. I will say one thing though, for the Becca, and I did this experiment and unfortunately I don't have an image of it. But when I put it on, it was just like such a bright luminizer. And I'm like, what does this remind me of? And then I remembered. It reminds me of a MAC strobe cream. So I actually put on MAC strobe cream on the other half of my face at another point when I was trying this on for a second day. And the MAC strobe cream is nicer. Like if I just put on MAC strobe cream on this side of my face with no coverage and did my makeup, it would look nicer than what the Becca product yielded. And yet it would still provide that luminosity, but it didn't feel greasy. It felt milky and it felt like this, it absorbed in the skin and you couldn't see like obvious sparkles. This is beautiful. Like if you're looking for a glowy product, I think this with maybe even some powder or concealer around like would probably get you much better results than this. So I just wanted to put it out there because I knew that it reminded me of something in terms of like how glowy it made my skin. But the MAC strobe cream, yeah, it did the same thing, but just less offensive. I hope this all makes sense. So anyway, those were my thoughts. I just wanted to hop on and deliver the news, the fantastic news from Wet n Wild and the not so fantastic news from Becca. But maybe you feel differently. I would love to hear your thoughts if you've tried one, either, if you're still gonna think of trying one or either and how they worked out for you. I typically have, I should mention, combo skin. So I have extreme dryness around the perimeter of my face and I have like an oily T-zone more or less. And my skin is pretty also sensitized. So I do get like, you know, breakouts, but breakouts brought to you by a product, maybe a product ingredient that wasn't great for me. I will say that wearing these for a few days, neither of them broke me out in terms of their ingredients. So we're safe on that front. And this one, I don't know that I mentioned, this one has a little bit of a scent. This one has no scent. This scent sort of smells a little like sunscreen, even though it has no sunscreen in it, but it's not offensive. And this one is thankfully unscented. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know all of that. I hope that helped. And we will be chatting soon. Okay, bye.